Welcome, everyone, to the How You Profit Show. This is your host, Jeff Herring, and we are broadcasting live from our virtual studios here way north of Atlanta in the foothills of the North Georgia mountains. And our topic today is, can you flip? Hey, Marlene. Hey, Flora. Hey, Nancy. Hey, Washika. Can you flip a small mini course into a four offer profit system? And we're going to work with Marlene's stuff today. She's got a cool mini course set up, and we're going to build around that. And hey, Alan. Now, before we get started, two things. One, the reason we do this show, hey, Crystal, the reason we do this show is I've been at this for 20 years and have for 20 years watched content creators try to out content their competition, or at least the people in their niche, right? And what I've seen is, unless you've got millions of dollars set aside for a monthly budget, it's not going to work. What that's going to result in is burnout for you. So, what I did was look at what's happening and pulled all my years of experience together. 25 years of helping people get unstuck. Hey, Richard, as a counselor, counseling psychologist, and all these years of doing this, what's the quickest way we could help content creators get profitable? And that's the whole basis of the How You Profit Show. Because what we want to do, what I want you guys to get, and then get on your own, you get your own profit seat, is that you don't have to create a whole lot more content. What you've already created is flippable into products. And like flipping houses or flipping cars, this is what we're talking about with your content. Flipping your content or an existing product into a four offer profit system. All right. So that's why we do this. And there's Marlene. All right. Awesome. We're having a little bit of trouble getting Marlene on um, as the guest. So she's in the background. She's commenting on the chat, and we'll work with it that way. And this, if this is going to happen, this is the best one for it to happen to, because Marlene and I have known each other for years. I know her and her niche very well. All right. Before we get started, I have to ask you this: Can I get someone to flip their unsent email drafts into a ghostwriting service for me? Oh, you already have? That's great. Nice job. Because you know what? Those half-written rants, they're monetizable too. All right, let's dive in here to Marlene's stuff. Now, I'm going to be looking at the diagram I've laid out. At this point, you can't do that here on Substack Live. What I'll do when later on today, probably tonight, if not earlier, the replay of this will drop. And in the show notes, you'll have this. You'll have a lot of stuff. You'll have this this diagram of what we're going to talk through here. Okay, starting with the core product. The core product is a kids Bible memory mini course. Okay, how to help kids memorize scripture. Now, it's a course. This is directed at adults for kids, because we're talking about grade school kids, and they're very much unlikely to buy any kind of mini course, right? And so that's a good foundational tool. You can turn that into a mini course, deliver in 3 modules, Marlene, and you could price that anywhere between 47 and 97, really. Now, let's build the rest out, because we're going to build a prequel, a sequel, and a spinoff all around Marlene's core product. Excuse me. Goodness. Now, the purpose of a prequel product is to get people to want to get the core product. They want to get something that helps them in the prequel. Okay. Solving something they need solved before they can even benefit from the core product. All right. So you want it to be something quick, help them get a quick win, and you want to price it low. I'm talking 17 to 47. Okay. So, Marlene, I'm suggesting for your prequel, you talked about a checklist, and we can do that. We can also do a quiz. Okay. And I'm thinking along the lines of, does your child know how to do this? Okay, let's talk about how to do this, how to help your child memorize scripture. And then we could ask questions like, does your child know these three verses, and pick three important ones from scripture? And that checklist or that quiz will indicate, it's going to do two things. Hey, Karen, it's going to do two things at least. It will help them memorize and help them pick out ones to memorize. And Cassandra, Karen, if y'all are just joining us, what we're doing right now is Marlene's core product is Kids Bible Memory Mini Course. And now we're working on the prequel product, checklist and quiz. So the purpose of a prequel is to get people a win and get them moving in to the core product. Okay. So that's what we do with the prequel. Now, with a sequel, and think Star Wars, okay? We started with episode 4, and then they went back to episode 1, and then they went forward, okay? So this is a sequel. And Marlene, I've changed the language a little bit from what you sent in to devotional for intentional Christ following parents. Devotional for intentional Christ following parents. The reason I changed it, over there on my coffee table, is a devotional I think I read today, is about a half hour ago, by a guy named Bob Goff. Now, I recommend all his books. I recommend all his stuff. To imagine Bob Goff, okay? What I want you to do is think about Robin Williams as a minister. He's crazy, okay? And we've talked on the phone. I've read his stuff. We've talked on the phone because he puts his phone number at the end of all his books. And his devotional is called Catching Whimsy. It's the second one I've used of his. Absolutely the best one ever. My men's small group has learned from it. And so what I'm suggesting, Marlene, okay, parents are going to be going, and she said she wanted advice on that title. Okay, good. And you love the idea of a quiz. Cool. And backing up, Marlene, we could even back up further and do a piece of that quiz or checklist as a lead magnet to lead them to the prequel, to lead them to the core, and now we're in the sequel. And so you could have a daily devotional, Marlene, for the adults, for intentional Christ following parents. Okay? And for those of you that are just joining us, we're working on the prequel product, the sequel product for Marlene. Now, Marlene, you have a variety of choices here. Okay. Bob Goff's devotional is daily. Okay. You could do daily, which is what I would suggest. You could do weekly. You could do, some kind of regular schedule twice a week. I would do once a day. And here's, listen close here. I want to tell you a secret, Marlene, and y'all can't spread it. Okay. We've got to keep it just between us, whether you're live here or you're on the replay. We're going to keep this secret. Yes. Raise your hand. Tell me in the chat. Okay, good. Okay. You can go to Chat GPT, Marlene, and you can ask Chat GPT to give you a devotional for intentional Christ following parents for every day of that month. Okay. And then the next month and the next one. I know you can write and will write a lot of this, some of this, a lot of it. I don't think you'll do all of it. That would be I don't want you to do all of it. You can get ideas and you can get it written for you using AI's help. I've done that with my men's group several times. Okay. So there's your sequel product. So they're starting with the lead magnet or the prequel, right? They do that checklist and quiz. Now they've got the core product for parents helping their kids memorize scripture, right? Now, the sequel is all about, okay, what do we need next? What do they need from you next? Okay. And this way, you could create a devotional for the parents that help them and gives the tip for helping the kid. Okay. So you're doing both. You're helping the parents and you're helping the kid. It's a beautiful thing. Now, a spinoff product ought to be fun. And for those of you, that have been around on the planet as long as I have, and Marlene too, think Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Happy Days, Mork and Mindy. There's Robin Williams again. Um, and it's really just to it's another way to sell. It's another stream of income. I like to have fun with them. And backing up to the sequel, Marlene, the thing I like to do with sequels is have it be recurring. And so people could pay. I know parents that I can connect you with that would pay a monthly fee to get that daily devotional. Okay. Um, Now to the spinoff product, I, I did one last week. I know what I did here. In the middle here. Here's an episode of What's on Jeff's Desk. We haven't done this in forever, but this fits right in with where we are. This is an article from May 10th, 95, over 30 years old. And it proves that, yes, I once had dark hair. And what we did last week was we turned that into a 4-offer profit system. And what I suggested to myself, because I was a great guest, is you could put in for parents the top 10 things never to believe from your teenager, um, or the universal laws for raising parents. No, to back up. It was either the top 10 things never to believe from your teenager, or the care and feeding of parents. Yeah. All right. So, folks, if you're just joining us, we've done the prequel, the core, the sequel, and now we're working on the spinoff product for Marlene. And all of this will be available to you when we drop later on today the replay, and you'll have all the show notes, and you'll have the graphic, and you'll have a whole lot more. All right. So, Marlene, my suggestion to you to make this fun, think of all the things that people think the Bible said, or think Jesus said, or think Paul said, or think somebody said, Moses, Solomon, anybody. All right. And you'll have a few of those you'll come up with. You could ask AI for some of those too. And then your spinoff would be called, Does It Really Say That? With a question, does it really say that? And you give the 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 myth that people think is in scripture, and then you give the reality that it's not, and it still may be a good thing to do. Okay. That would be fun and playful. And for your sequel product, um, we're talking a regular monthly fee. So I'm talking, um, 27 to 37 for that. And folks, for everybody here, I want you to pick up something really, really important here. When you're doing a membership, you can burn yourself out and burn out your audience. I've done both. All right. And so that's why I'm real big on service delivery time and then service consumption time. All right. Service consumption time is how much time do they got to spend consuming it. Service delivery time is how much do you got to spend. Okay. Marlene, you could do this by creating a devotional. And let's say people bought tomorrow. You could start it in August. All right. And get it done for August. And then at the end of the month, then the next month. You could do that week to week. I wouldn't do it day to day. I would do it month to month. Okay. And then once a month, Marlene, hop on for a Q&A for the parents. And there's your service delivery time. All right. And now for the spinoff, we want it to be fun. I'm thinking 27 to 37, probably 27. And so what you now have, Marlene, and everyone listening, because what I want you to do is watch this and then watch the replay with 2 questions in mind. How can I use what Jeff did for Marlene in my own business? And 2, how can I get Jeff to do what he did for Marlene for me? And we'll talk about that in just a moment. All right. What we've created today from one product I really want you to get that. We did it from one product, just one. And we could do it from one piece of content. We could do it from one idea for you. We've created a core product, a prequel product. The core product is Kids Bible Memory Mini Course. The prequel is a checklist and a quiz. And does your child know how to memorize scripture? Do they know these scriptures? The sequel is a devotional for intentional Christ following parents. And the spinoff is Does It Really Say That? All right. So, what we've done with one idea in one mini course, Marlene, you now have 4 streams of income to use, and all of them are entry ramps. Okay, they're on ramps to the rest of the system, to the rest of your system that's not even pictured here, that you'll be able to use forever. All right. So, as I alluded to a moment ago, and Marlene, if as we're wrapping up, if you have any questions, pop them in the chat. I'll try to catch them. As I alluded to a moment ago, always watch these with the notion of how can I use what Jeff's doing for the guest in my own business, and how can I get Jeff to do this for me? Well, there's a way to do that. Okay, to come on the Content Profit Show, sit in the flip profit seat, and we'll flip your content, your idea, your product into a 4 offer profit system in 30 minutes or less. The way you do that, and this will be in your show notes, it's easy to remember and write down. How you do that is you go to jeffherring.com/flip. jeffherring.com/flip, FLIP, JEFFHERRING.com/FLIP. jeffherring.com/flip. You'll have 3 choices to get involved in. And as soon as you get involved, you'll be taken to the scheduler and we'll get you in. All right. Now, before we wrap up, need to mention our sponsor for this episode. This episode was sponsored by the wait list that never launches, where dreams go to dangle indefinitely. You can reserve your spot at www.soonish.io. And remember, urgency is optional. Now, that's the very first time I've done this playful close about a sponsor. It's not real. I don't know what you'll get if you go to soonish.io, if anything. Okay. But it's just a fun way to have some fun with what we're doing here. Okay. While you're on the way to jeffherring.com/flip. All right. And as always, folks, thank you for being here. There's a lot of places you could have been online, and you chose to be with us. That's always appreciated. If you're just joining us, as I saw some people do, this replay page and the show notes will drop um, sometime this afternoon, early evening at the latest. Um, and let's see, Marlene says, no questions. I have the devotional as a 21-day devotional. Okay. Yeah. Well, then you've already got part of the first month done. There you go. All right. So as we wrap up, folks, as always, go use this stuff. And we will catch you next time on our next show, next Wednesday at 12 noon p.m. ET, Eastern time, because we speak Eastern here. So as always, kids, go use this stuff.